So the Conservative leadership contest is going on at the moment, and one of the frontrunners to be a potential Conservative leader has now officially thrown his hat in the ring. Robert Jenrick, a man who painted over a mural of Mickey Mouse because it might make refugee children too happy, has thrown his hat into the ring to be Conservative Party leader. And this man is obviously a gigantic ghoul, but he released a quite interesting campaign video today, and I think it's worth watching and having a look at what he thinks the problems are with the Conservative Party and where he thinks that they need to change to potentially come into government in the future. Let's see what he has to say.
I'm about to tell you some hard truths, but let me start by saying this is a great country and our party has achieved so much in the past 14 years. Our country was bankrupt and we restored our public finances. We reformed our schools.
Our country can't go bankrupt, and our debt to GDP ratio is now higher than it was in 2010. So I don't know what you're saying about fixing the country's finances, Robert. That's just complete nonsense. Although your austerity programs that targeted the poorest in society did leave pools of blood in their wake. So cheers. Appreciate that, Robert. Well done. You're trying to say that you have 14 years of success. It's when you think we did austerity and schools may have high levels of reading, but roofs are literally crumbling because concrete's collapsed, because the Conservative government's austerity programs pulled a bunch of school renovation plans. I don't think that's a real winning strategy, Robert.
Schools. We got Brexit done against huge opposition. But all this begs a question. Why have we just suffered our worst ever defeat? And that tough question leads to a deeper one about where our country is right now. Over the past few decades, a series of complex and interlocking challenges have steadily built up here and across the West. Our economy has been growing too slowly, and as growth has fallen,
Okay, the economy is growing too slowly. I agree. We all agree the economy has been growing too slowly. But you started off your video by saying in 2010 that we got the nation's finances under control. But your policies of austerity that you're now painting as getting the finances under control are literally patient zero as to why we're not growing as a country now, Robert. What the hell are you talking about?
Taxes have risen, but despite having more of our money than ever, too much of the state is not working. Our NHS has a fifth more money, doctors and nurses than it did 5 years ago, but isn't treated.
Yes, because you cut funding as a percentage of GDP every year from 2010 until 2018. The COVID inquiry specifically said that the reason why we're having too many problems with the NHS now is because we cut capacity during the Osborne and Hammond years. Waiting lists were continually increasing every single year during the coalition and during the Theresa May governments. Thus where the problem started. And then the coronavirus pandemic happened and it massively blocked up the NHS, and the waiting lists built up massively because we were having to put off routine things that were on waiting lists to deal with the pandemic, which we were massively overexposed to because of the austerity program that you are now calling getting the nation's finances under control.
Treating any more people. The hard truth is that we lost this election because we failed to tackle these challenges. The even harder truth is that the severity of these challenges now threatens our future.
Yeah, turns out you take money out of public services or privatise them or do things like the Lansley reforms. Like, all of these things fail miserably. Like, or look at the privatised rail networks, just throwing public money at them, indemnifying them when they go on strike rather than resolving the dispute because you cared more about facing down the unions because you worship Thatcher like a god rather than actually caring about having those services run in a way that people can use them.
Through what they mean for people here in Wolverhampton, where I grew up, or across our country. Good jobs, harder to come by. Incomes, just not going far enough. It taking too long to see a GP.
Yes, high streets are hollowed out because people can't consume because wages are down. Wages are down because you did supply-side labour market reform. You cut the welfare state and trade union bargaining rights and didn't engage in investment because of austerity. So there wasn't enough investment to create good paying jobs. There wasn't enough trade union bargaining rights to fight for higher wages. And companies didn't have to pay higher wages because the welfare state got shredded, so they weren't competing with anything. You deliberately ran economic policy to make sure wages stayed low. That's an explicit George Osborne policy plan, was to keep wages low during a period of incredibly low interest rates where you could have been investing in the infrastructure of this country, which now doesn't exist and why we're in a massive economic malaise. Yeah, you hollowed it out. And you described that at the start of the video as getting the nation's finances under control, Robert.
It's hollowed out. I got elected 10 years ago, and for most of that time, I thought our politics broadly worked. I prided myself on getting stuff done for our country. I got the number of new homes being built to the highest level in 40 years. I cut red tape for small businesses. But over the last 2 years, I've come to see that a new approach is needed. When I was Minister for Immigration, I saw dangerous people coming into our country. I saw us unable to deport them. I saw hundreds of thousands of people we frankly didn't need coming in legally.
We absolutely do need them because, again, your terrible macroeconomic policies have made people poorer. All you say about wages is true, right? And housing costs are massively unaffordable. Why do you think people aren't having families here? Why do you think birth rates are so low? It's because they can't afford it and have no stability because of all the sell-off of the council housing. And we need to have people immigrating here that we do need to keep our working age population up to pay for the massively high pension bill that you triple locked us into having to be stratospherically high and the biggest part of the welfare budget. Now, I think it's good that we have good pensions in this country, or at least not like terrible pensions, and the triple lock protects pensioners to ensure that they are not massively poor, for example. But that requires a tax base to fund it, which we don't have because our birth rate is too low. So having to supplement with immigration. Like, we do need these people, Robert, for the future of our economy, which you say is bad.
But our politics was unable or unwilling to deliver what was needed. The new government aren't going to fix things. They have too many delusions. Our party is our country's best hope. But we have a mountain to climb and real choices to make. We won't regain people's trust with platitudes. I believe our people and Parliament must be sovereign. I believe that anyone who comes here illegally must be deported within days.
People who come here on boats are coming here irregularly. It's not illegal. It would be illegal if they came here and overstayed their visa. Someone came here with a visa and overstayed it. That's illegal to come here like that. But coming over on a small boat and then claiming asylum is the legal way under the UNHCR to be able to declare asylum.
I believe that ending mass migration won't be plain sailing, but we must do it. I believe we can and must get our economy to grow much faster by building more homes in our cities, producing more reliably cheap energy, and getting our people real skills, not low-value degrees.
But the reason why the graduate premium has been hollowed out is because you failed on investment. We have just as many people going to university as a percentage as the United States does. Yeah, because the US has been engaging in investment under both parties, really. Neither of them are deficit hawks like you have been in the United States. They're not deficit hawks. They did investment. We had investment which created graduate jobs, and the graduate premium is rising. Despite them getting similar amounts of STEM degrees than we do, people are using those degrees to be able to find good work because those jobs were invested in. We have not done that because of your terrible economic mismanagement that you praised at the start of this video. It's not low-value degrees, because the degrees are what would be getting people normal jobs if you hadn't screwed the economy.
I believe in a safety net, but far too many people are on welfare right now. I want a small state that works.
But you cut the state, and that's why it doesn't work. The austerity cut down the level of state expenditure, and that has led to these things not working. There are too many people on welfare because you didn't increase NHS budgets in line with inflation during the austerity period. As a percentage of GDP, it dropped from 2010 to 2018. That's why things aren't working and why people are on welfare, because you screwed over the state by making it too small.
Not a big one that fails. I want us to build more prisons and keep dangerous people there longer.
So you don't want to grow the economy then? You want more people out of work? Burdens upon the state rather than having jobs and being productive? That doesn't make sense.
I want to strengthen our defences by investing more in our armed forces, and by doing that more intelligently. Our party needs to change a lot, but we need to change in keeping with our best traditions and our values. Those values include moderation, generosity of spirit, respect for institutions and for one another, a desire for national unity, not division. We lost support in part because we stopped upholding these values.
What about the institution of the European Convention on Human Rights or the International Conventions on Refugees? Are those institutions that you don't recognise? Attacking migrants or asylum seekers, is that not divisive? Is that not fomenting division that you say that you don't like, Robert? So much of this is so contradictory. Just talking about, oh, we lost because people are poor and because public services don't work, but it was good that we cut public services and we should cut public services more to make the state smaller. But also we should grow the economy, but also we should have people out of work by having them in prison for longer rather than making them productive again. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense at all. It's all completely contradictory. Because, again, what he's done here, he's recognised actually loads of the problems that did lose them the election, like failure to deal with migration, which people do want despite it being economically damaging, but whatever, that's their prerogative. I'm not going to question that. But they failed on public service provision and on the cost of living and on wages, which is all the things that he praised during this video, their economic policy platform. He just thinks by we can build some houses, suddenly that will make us economically prosperous again. Now, it's something we need to do, but the private sector has already failed on building houses. You're going to do house communism? You're going to build some council houses, Robert? Like, but that'll be a big state that you say that you don't want. It's incredible to diagnose the problem correctly as being austere neoliberalism, whilst also saying, actually, austere neoliberalism is really good and we should also do more of it. It's so strange just watching people essentially realise that everything they believe in is wrong and then just keep believing in it anyway because they follow Thatcherism like it's scripture.
So as we change, we must stay a broad church, but one with a common creed.
What about universities and low-value degrees? Aren't those institutions that we have historically held as a monument of British culture? And also a thing that grows the economy. The strength of our universities, our world-class universities, is how we grow the economy by getting people to spend foreign capital in the UK to boost GDP. If we want economic growth, getting rid of one of the things that we are best at globally, our competitive advantage globally, in the education market, that is going to be something that's bad for growth if we slash away at it because the degrees are low value. It doesn't make any sense.
I will unite us around the actual solutions to the challenges we face. That's why I'm standing to be leader of our party.
Very strange, very strange.
So, Mum, you're my missus's favourite.
Oh, good.
So,
I'd like to hear that. What about you?
oh, yeah, why not?
Were you?
Yeah, this is just a random person he bumped into whilst filming his campaign video who goes, oh, my wife loves you. Yeah, I'm sure that this was a very natural thing and definitely not staged or scripted whatsoever.
Are you a Conservative voter?
In the past I have been, yes. This time I voted for reform.
Did you? And would you come back if I became leader?
I think so. Sav, excuse me a second. Sav, behave yourself. Yes, I think so. You got a good chance.
Very good. Good to meet you, sir.
And you.
Thank you.
That was very weird. But there you go. Robert Jenrick has decided that conservatism is bad, and to fix it, we need to do conservatism harder and make it even worse. Brilliant. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and leave a comment. That helps the video out in the algorithm. If you subscribe and ring the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. I stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. You can also follow all of my socials down in the description. And if you want to support me in a more financial manner, there's a join button for membership to just 99p to be a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon, and there's some merch there as well. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.